one person that I believe deserves like some sort of executive of the year award, it has to be Daryl Morey, because the way he handled this situation was Jordan-esque in the sense of a NBA GM. And I'm gonna tell you what I think in just a second. Now guys, we just dropped casual merch. This actually came from a dare from my friend saying that so many people roast me for my takes and call me a casual. That'd be funny if I dropped merch on it. This is like an awesome gift to purchase somebody that just has no idea what they're talking about when it comes to sports, or clearly doesn't watch the NBA but still gives their opinion on it. In addition to that, I did drop a video on the Travis Scott tragedy on TheFlightMike TV. If you guys happen to be interested in that, that's my more general commentary channel. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. One of the most difficult parts about being a man is finding a way to shave your face without breaking your bank on shaving cartridges. And that's why I go to Harry's for all of my shaving needs. Harry's crafts long-lasting, durable razor blades that would typically cost $100, but they're giving it to you for a significantly bigger discount. Like their starter set, for example, would easily be a $13 value, and it includes a 5-blade razor, a weighted handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, and a travel cover, and it's all just $3 freaking, bro. But in addition to that, they're just a great brand. They have a bunch of awesome products for your face and your body. And right now, when you go to harrys.com/flightmike, you can get their starter set for just $3. Yes, something that would typically cost you hundreds of dollars will now start costing you $3 with a significant increase in quality of shave as well. And thank you, Harry's, for today's sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, as someone that has his own business, one of my favorite things to see is whenever business is just conducted really well. And to be honest, I'm not just saying this because Daryl Morey happens to follow me, but the way he handled this Ben Simmons situation was literally on the tier of Jordan and Kobe and Tom Brady and probably some of the greatest executives of all time. Because if I saw what was going on with Ben Simmons and I felt the pressure that Daryl Morey may have felt with Ben Simmons, then I might have traded him for Malcolm Brogdon or D'Angelo Russell. I'm not gonna lie. So Daryl Morey came out and said, okay, we'll keep Ben Simmons and we'll see how things go. Now, this year has gotten a little bit weird because I don't want to overstep here because I take mental health really seriously. I've come out and told you guys multiple times that I need to take a little break due to my mental health, or I have some personal problems going on with my mental health. I sometimes struggle with insomnia, and I usually admit it to you guys. I like giving you guys a little bit of a heads up in regards to where my headspace is at. And to be honest, Mike Mafia is a squad that I hold true to me, you know? Like, I like being honest with you guys. I'm not perfect. I get sad. It's normal. So I want to make sure that I'm very empathetic about this situation. Ben Simmons' latest thing when the NBA season began was saying that he needs time off, get assistance for his declining mental health. Now, to be honest, these are very valid claims. If you saw what Ben Simmons went through since the end of that Atlanta Hawks series versus the Philadelphia 76ers, when Doc Rivers didn't give him a vote of confidence when he was asked whether Simmons could be a championship caliber point guard, what he went through immediately after that game, where pretty much all of Philadelphia would say things like,
"As Ben Simmons, you fucking crumb bum, get Ben Simmons the fuck out of my city. I don't want to see him. If Ben Simmons on his team next year, it's gonna be a problem. Ben Simmons, this motherfucker, man."
And then being the subject of trade rumors even before he demanded a trade, I 100% understand why his mental health would be declining. But despite this, it seems like the Philadelphia 76ers are still fining Ben Simmons $360,000 per game. And to add insult to injury, the Philadelphia 76ers are currently in first place in the East over teams like the Miami Heat and the Brooklyn Nets and the surprising Washington Wizards. Without Ben Simmons, they're currently on a 6-game winning streak without the guy. Now, this is hysterical. This is pretty much the worst thing that could have happened to Ben, because when you're sitting out games, you're pretty much hoping that your team is like, damn, we really need Ben Simmons to come back. We're missing our lockdown guard or forward or whatever the hell you classify Ben Simmons as. We're missing the man that ran transition like he was Magic Johnson. We're missing a man that was a horrible shooter on the floor. But it seems like Ben Simmons was the man that was holding this team back, and they are actually better off without him, so much so that now Ben Simmons is absolutely screwed. I mean, you either have to come back and play for the Philadelphia 76ers, or you're just gonna lose your salary because the Sixers are better off without you. I mean, maybe you could do a situation where he comes back to play for the Sixers and he holds the 76ers back, so maybe the 76ers agree to shut him down and at least he'll get his salary for sitting on the bench. But man, this is the worst thing that could have happened to the guy, which is absolutely hysterical. And again, hats off to Daryl Morey for pulling this off. I cannot believe that this was the result of the entire saga that went down over the past summer. But we got a pretty crazy piece of information now. As a result of the 76ers clearly not needing the #1 pick in the 2016 NBA draft, we have an update from The Athletic in regards to where things stand with the Sixers, and this is coming from Cham Charania. Now, the article begins with saying there remains no imminent resolution as far as a trade is concerned. The 3-time All-Star met with the 76ers coach, Doc Rivers, co-star Joel Embiid, and the entire team on October 22nd and informed them that he is not mentally ready to play yet and that he needs time to get his mind right. Simmons told them in the meeting that everyone bears responsibility for the situation, including himself. Simmons requested a trade from the 76ers in June following a Game 7 loss to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals after Rivers and Embiid made critical public comments about Simmons, which again, I 100% empathize with Ben Simmons about his mental health taking a little bit of a hit as a result of that. That could not have been easy for him to go through, hearing your head coach and your co-star not really standing up for you during that difficult time. Since then, Ben Simmons shunned teammates by sending back an airplane before training camp, reported to camp late, was kicked out of his 3rd practice with the team for failing to follow Doc Rivers' request to enter a defensive drill, and currently, and this is the part that I really hope this is valid, and I hope he's not using this as a scapegoat, because that would be very low, and I'm gonna assume that he's not using this as a scapegoat because he has a right to feel down because of his mental situation. But the 76ers are testing the validity of Simmons' pursuit of mental health assistance. Again, this is a very fine line. It's really messed up to go up to a guy and say, hey, mentally you're fine, get your ass back on the court. You know, you can't say that. That's very insensitive. But at the same time, I could see how Simmons might be using this to get out of playing games. The 76ers have become increasingly irritated with Simmons' lack of providing further clarity on the matter to them and have threatened to return to their daily fines for events that the organization feels he is not participating in, such as games, practices, shoot-around, strength, and conditioning workouts. Now, I think they already did that. They're fining him $360,000 a game. Multiple sources have told The Athletic that Simmons has provided the organization with the names of each of his mental health professionals. The franchise has access to Simmons' mental health professionals, but those professionals are not able to provide further information to the 76ers without Simmons' consent due to patient confidentiality. So far, Philadelphia does not have a mental health doctor on its staff with whom Simmons is comfortable with. Simmons is allowed the ability to seek treatment from outside the 76ers physicians for mental assistance. So it seems like Simmons' situation seems to be very valid. He doesn't feel comfortable with the doctor on the 76ers, mainly because he might not want the 76ers to know how he feels, which of course, 100% within his rights. Now, the 76ers feel that they should be given more details about Simmons' treatment plans, process, and return timeframe. Team officials say that they have sought a good faith effort from Simmons to help understand his return to action process, not the specifics of his mental health guidance, but that claim has not happened. Simmons, meanwhile, is not obligated to share details of his work with mental health professionals. So pretty much the Sixers just want to know, yo, Ben, how are you feeling? What is the timetable of your return? And could we talk to your therapist to see how far you are from returning? And Ben Simmons doesn't even want them to know that. So since the telltale October 22nd meeting with Doc Rivers and his teammates, Simmons has been engaged around the team in the facility and at home shoot-arounds. He has been conducting one-on-one workouts, participating in intense shooting drills with teammate Tyrese Maxey, and receiving back treatment from the training staff. Simmons is also receiving help from mental health professionals, a process he began during the offseason according to sources. Given that Simmons has been at odds with the 76ers 76ers, it's clear that the trust must be built before he delves into the personal matters of his mental state with them. Sources added that Simmons has informed the franchise for months that he is not feeling mentally ready, but that the organization has insisted on attempts to get him to play again. This is where it gets a little juicy, because Daryl Morey approached Simmons last Wednesday about his return to play status, but Simmons reiterated his stance that he is seeking professional help. Team officials say they will support Simmons in this process to receive mental health treatment, but sources said that the 76ers just wanted feedback and clarity on what it entails. In the meantime, the 76ers have not had any deal formed for Ben Simmons. Morey has continued to set a high price threshold for any deal involving the runner-up for 2021 NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Philadelphia is once again the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference so far, beginning the campaign 8-2 with quality wins, while playing through absences and the Ben Simmons situation. Now this is what we came here for, man. I'm sorry, I didn't know the article would take this long, but the Boston Celtics have engaged in conversations with the 76ers revolving around Ben Simmons and expressed interest in the 6'11" guard, or forward, I guess. Sources tell The Athletic. Talks have been fluid with no traction as of yet, those sources say. Any potential Simmons deal with the Celtics would have to include all-star forward Jaylen Brown, an ascending talent who's in the midst of another career season, averaging 25.6 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. Now, the Celtics have been off to a really bad start. I mean, we talked about it on the Laced Up podcast, how Marcus Smart literally came out and called out Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for essentially being ball hogs and not passing the ball, which is really freaking toxic if you think about it. But afterwards, there was a group meeting and things have been getting better. Apparently, for the most part, the Celtics are off to a very rocky start. And this isn't what I expected. You have to understand that the Celtics made some moves this offseason, not necessarily to make them better, but at the very minimum, I'd assume that this is a group of guys that like each other. They went out and reacquired Al Horford, which was a major presence on that team during their Eastern Conference championship runs about half a decade ago. Now, the scary part is Brad Stevens admitted to NBC Sports Boston that the organization's going to find out if it has the right group of players. There's a chance that they blow this thing up, and to be honest, I don't blame them. Jaylen Brown has been on this team for 5 years. Jason Tatum's been on this team for 4 years. You pretty much know what you have in each player, even though Jason Tatum's having a really rough start to the season. Jaylen Brown is in the midst of having one of the best seasons of his career. He's looking a lot like the way he did last year. He's been shooting incredibly efficiently, 40% from 3 over the past 2 seasons, averaging 25 points per game in a year where, bear in mind, a lot of the league's best players are having trouble scoring. He's been extremely efficient with a PER of 20.2 and a OBPM of 2.6, and has contributed 0.8 wins so far this year. The man's shooting near 50% from the field, and it's safe to say, man, this guy's 2 years away from his prime, and he's already starting to look like the real deal. Meanwhile, Jason Tatum has had some very up and down games. He isn't really as efficient. He's shooting 40% from the field as opposed to Jaylen Brown's 50 or near 50. He's shooting 32% from 3 in comparison to last year where he was shooting 39% from 3. He's averaging 24 points per game. In my opinion, it's only a matter of time before he figures it out. I mean, he's definitely one of the best forwards in the NBA, but if there's one thing I do agree with, it's the combo of these two. Yeah, they're good. They either need another player to help them, or they might want to change things up a little bit. Anytime you start out the season this poorly, I think it's a question that you should at least ask. Do I think the Boston Celtics would give up Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons? I mean, you have to think about what you're getting there. You're getting a offensive playmaker that is kind of a liability in half-court sets, but at least defensively, he's able to make plays. And if Brad Stevens could figure out a way to make that work, then I can imagine a Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons swap taking place. But this is one of those things where you just got to see how desperate both sides get. I mean, if you look at the 76ers, I don't think they're desperate at all to move Ben Simmons currently. They're just finding him each and every single day while they're still winning games, although Joel Embiid's going to be out for a little bit, so maybe they're going to go on a little bit of a losing streak, who knows? But in the meantime, the Celtics might need to act quickly because throughout the first 10 games of their season, they just have not been performing well so far. So if you're a Celtics fan, let me know in the comment section down below. Would you trade Jaylen Brown for Jason Tatum? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.